All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name's London Breed. I'm mayor of the city and county of San Francisco, and I'm truly excited to be here on this festive occasion with so many city departments and so many community members who made this project possible. I want to start by thanking President of the Board of Supervisors, Malia Cohen. She has been working on this project since she became a member of the Board of Supervisors. And thank goodness, President Cohen, that you're able to complete it on your way out.
Thank goodness.
Doesn't it feel good? Today, we celebrate this project, a project that will bring almost 1,600 units of housing, 25% which will be below market rate, and 200,000 square feet of commercial office space or space in general, 14 acres of public park open space, and we will, of course, be increasing transit options with pedestrian and bike lanes and improving our city streets and infrastructure in this particular neighborhood. This is all as a result of an incredible partnership between city departments, as I said, and the residents of this community. Because as our city grows, we need to make sure that all of our neighborhoods are equitable, sustainable, and diverse. I'm very proud of the hard work that has been put into making this project an inclusive project by providing housing and community spaces for people and families of all backgrounds. And thanks to everyone who is here today, we're doing just that with 394 affordable housing units that will be constructed through this project, and the 40% of these units are eligible for the landmark legislation that President Cohen and I worked on a few years ago, and that is the neighborhood preference legislation to ensure that the residents of District 10 have right of first refusal for this housing. This program is so critical in keeping our communities intact as neighborhoods like India Basin and Bayview Hunters Point experience rapid growth and expansion. And with the public open space, the child care facility, the new grocery stores, the markets, and everyone in the community will have access to jobs and outdoor activity and, of course, an important grocery store, as I mentioned. You happy about that, right? I'm very grateful to the hard work and the dedication of all of you here today involved, including the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, the Rec and Park, clearly the staff. Go ahead. Thank you all for your work and your leadership. Thank you to the Recreation and Parks Department, the Port of San Francisco, the India Basin Neighborhood Association, and BUILD, particularly the Principal and Managing Director Lou Vasquez for your hard work on this project. And as I said before, the leadership of President Cohen on making this a reality and providing a real community process with a very balanced project that will bring all of what's needed to India Basin, where it will be an important part of District 10 and the vibrancy of the Bayview Hunters Point community. I'd like to, at this time, thank her for her hard work and also her commitment to finishing this project before she left the Board of Supervisors. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to introduce President of the Board of Supervisors, Malia Cohen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bree. Thank you, everyone, for coming out this afternoon. I feel so many things. It's just a mixed bag of emotions. First, I think, most strongest emotion I feel is exhaustion. And the second emotion is gratitude. gratitude is just completely filling me because this has been an incredible journey, an opportunity not only for me to grow as a professional, but also as a person, as a woman. I was elected when I was 32 years old, relatively young in one's professional career, and projects like this have really made me a woman. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of those that have touched this project. So many people. I think I alone have had 3 legislative aides working on this particular project. So there are many people that I'd like to just recognize. First and foremost, I want to talk about the Bayview Hunters Point community. And this neighborhood is the beating heart of San Francisco, hands down. And when Bayview Hunters Point is thriving, you will find every nook and cranny of San Francisco will be thriving. It brings so much joy to stand here today to celebrate the revitalization of this area through the India Basin Project. We're talking about 1,500 units of housing, waterfront, recreation, habitat, and wetland restoration that are only a few of the highlights that this project is going to bring to the entire neighborhood. Ann Topier, don't go too far. Don't go too far. Don't walk away from me now, Ann. I have, as you heard from the mayor, devoted 8 years of my life for this project. And so seeing it through, I just want to take a moment and say how thankful I am to the neighbors of India Basin, to the neighbors that have been so diligent and steadfast and paying attention to every single detail. These were neighbors that I didn't have a previous relationship with until I started campaigning. And they brought me into their ranks, they took me under their arm, and they indoctrinated me into seeing things their way. And I have just one of the members, Michael Hammond, up here with me today, but I want to recognize Jill Fox, who's also here, who also works for the city, who has taken time on her lunch breaks to come and to advocate and to be in the chamber. And there are many members of the India Basin Neighborhood Association that are not here today, but have put in an incredible amount of work. And I just want to give voice to the neighbors that have been advocates for day one on this particular project. Thank you. We are finally here to implement a strategy to maximize public benefits in the southeast part of San Francisco through housing options, better transit, and open space. And I want to pause here and recognize the Department of Rec and Park. RPD has been a partner, a steadfast partner from the beginning when it comes to open space. Not only are we repairing critical park infrastructure that already exists, but Phil Ginsburg and his commission has been a partner in developing new open spaces that were not in existence, small site acquisitions. I mean, we have been through it, Phil and I, and we haven't always been in love with each other. We have our moments where we bicker, but today is really a proud moment, and I hope to continue to work with you as we work on getting this Parks Bond to move forward, as we continue to work on building the southeast neighborhoods and connecting them through open space, through the southeast, through the southern and the central waterfront, connecting the entire city. So there is a jewel, an emerald jewel of green open space that's walkable, that's bikeable, and that is open and unobstructed so that any and everyone can enjoy open space. Thank you, Philip. And I really need to give a moment to recognize the Mayor's Office of Economic and Workforce Development. This is an incredibly awesome responsibility that this particular department has. And for this project, I want to uplift Ann Topier, who was run through the ringer. This woman has been like a goddess. She embodies not only my fashion sense, but also my fitness goals. With a set of arms like that, this is a resilient, strong woman, and I want to say thank you. And Ann, I want to recognize that you have a whole team of folks that are around you. I know you didn't do it by yourself. You have spent countless hours with the city attorney as well. Thank you to the city attorney's office for all of their time and billable hours to this project that has brought us where we are today. Just a moment of gratitude. Thank you. Now, there are two other folks that are standing up here to my right, and it's so appropriate that they stand to my right because they have been my right hand through this endeavor. This is Jackie Flynn, who's representing the A. Philip Randolph Institute. And then this is Michael Hammond, who is representing himself. Just kidding. Michael Hammond is representing IBNA, the India Basin Neighborhood Association. And if it were not for these two organizations, let alone these two outstanding leaders, I don't know if we would be here today. Because they have not only advocated for the project, but they have educated their neighbors. They have educated the youth around in the surrounding area, and that is how we continue to move forward. So we are uplifting and not leaving anyone behind. And I don't think that that could ever be overstated. Thank you very much. This is a dynamic duo that have put in a lot of work. And I want to recognize the young people that are here from APRI that have come to public comment, that have written and given testimony. They have been to commission meetings, and they have learned a lot about the inner workings of local government. Thank you very much to Kurt and Sophia and the entire APRI team. We couldn't do it without you. Let me tell you a little bit about Jackie Flynn, because she's a native San Franciscan, and much like we have a connection, and that is her father, my godfather, if you will, James Bryant, who has been a stalwart in San Francisco when it comes to labor and has been able to embody in both of us, impress upon us the importance of labor. And with that, I want to recognize all of the labor leaders that are also here that have been influential in shaping this project and making sure that we haven't forgotten anyone. Thank you very much to the plumbers, to the pipe fitters, to the electricians, so on and so forth. I want to just recognize Jackie. She's a native San Franciscan and a true dynamic leader. And when we say dynamic, not only is she just fantastic, but she is flexible, and she listens, and she responds to what she is hearing. So when there are community concerns, her advocacy reflects those concerns. And there are few leaders that are standing before us today that do that. And Jackie, thank you for mobilizing the community. Thank you for giving notice, and thank you for giving feedback on this project. It has been invaluable. I want to recognize Michael Hammond, who is a long-time Bayview resident, an institution. I'm glad he wore his red shirt, because usually you see him in the blue shirt. So it's either red or blue with this guy, but one thing that is always true is that he's leading with his heart, and he always has the community at the forefront of his mind. He's been an advocate for housing in the community, paying close and careful attention to all of the developments, even developments that I don't want him to be focused on, but all of the developments nonetheless. He has been there, and he is serving on the Bayview CAC, that's the Bayview Citizens Advisory Commission. This is the commission that I worked with Dan Dote, another Bayview resident, and once the redevelopment agency was dissolved, we saw that there was a gap, that we needed to have community involvement and input in each and every one of these development projects. So thank you for serving on the CAC. Thank you for serving on IBNA. I would be remiss if I did not share that this support of this project is deep, and thank you. It's important that we have people that are committed, not only vested in ideology, but in practice. So, Madam Mayor and my colleague, Supervisor Safai, thank you for being here to recognize these wonderful neighborhood leaders. And again, to the project sponsor, I want to thank you for giving a gift that would not stop giving. In the 11th hour in the chamber. We should even give a shout out to Jane Kim, just to be nice. But Lou and the entire team, I just want to say thank you for the countless hours that we spent in shaping the project, listening to the neighbors, and producing a product that will benefit not only all of San Francisco, but specifically the Bayview Hunters Point community. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to bring up Mr. Michael Hammond.
Thank you, Mayor Breed. Thank you, Supervisor Cohen, for giving me the challenge of a lifetime. They asked me to limit my remarks to 1 minute. So, you know, when the Planning Commission approved this project unanimously, and that right there is a newsworthy item, several commissioners came out and characterized this project as outstanding and exemplary. And indeed, in the years to come, this project will be held up as an example of how to do a large project right. And the main reason this is so is because of the way it came about. The project you see before you today is a result of years of collaboration with the neighborhood. And
Don't get nervous now.
the project is inseminated with the hopes and dreams and ideas of the folks who live there. And it shows, because the new neighborhood that's growing on the shores of India Basin is going to be a star. Another star in that constellation of neighborhoods that we call San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank
Jackie?
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Breed, Supervisor Safai, and thank you so much, Malia, Cohen, Supervisor Cohen. You are amazing. I remember about 15 years ago, my dad took me out to Gerald and Earl, and he asked me to look out at the shoreline, and he told me, believe that one day the shoreline's going to change. And so about 3 years ago, I was honored to serve on the task force. And I remembered every day that we came to the church about his vision and his dream. And today, you know, this is history. This is an opportunity to clean up environmental contamination in our community, improve transportation that is so heavily needed on that side of town, create more housing stock, and make Bayview even more beautiful than it already is. We had a beautiful, wonderful event last night with all the families in Bayview at the Jolie Rec Center. And I know for sure if we build something at this site that all these families will come together and really enjoy the space. So I also want to thank everyone who worked on the project to really bring a vision and plan to the shoreline. I really want to thank the families and the young people that continue to listen to me and remember that I'm asking you to pour in your time and effort, but it's because of how much love we actually have for our community. I'm looking forward to moving forward, really pulling up our sleeves, getting some work together and activating the site. So we've been telling a lot of people about it, and we want to make sure that we're moving forward. So thank you, everybody.
And Jackie, the job is not done, because when we build it, we need to make sure that we're in the Bayview Hunters Point community and we got folks applying for the housing so we can get them into the housing. That's the next step of this project. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's sign this legislation.
We're going to scoot over so we can be the first to witness. Yes.
Oh, thank you.